The sentence handed to disgraced Paralympic star Oscar Pistorius. Yesterday, it called for a harsher sentence, arguing that the one that was meted out was astonishingly light. Pistorius is serving 5 years for culpable homicide after he shot and killed his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. For what to expect, we're now crossing over to our reporter, Chriselda Lewis, she is in Pretoria. A very good morning to you, Chriselda. What can we expect today? And what happened yesterday? Just remind us.
Well, a very good morning to you, Vale, and certainly we're expecting that judgment from Judge Thokozile Masipa this morning, which will really give direction on the next step of this case, whether the state will succeed in this application for leave to appeal. Of course, if that is granted, we will see, in this case, a sitting before the Supreme Court of Appeals. And if Judge Thokozile Masipa, of course, does not agree with the state and the fact that another court would come to another conclusion, we might see the National Prosecuting Authority, if the decision does not go their way, petition the Supreme Court of Appeal. But certainly yesterday was we saw the state in the form of Senior Prosecutor Chriselda really pointing out to the court that it failed to take into account crucial aspects of this case that would have seen Oscar Pistorius spend much more time behind bars or be given a heftier sentence. We saw him say that the court did not take into account the degree of culpability that Oscar Pistorius should have taken responsibility for when he fired those 4 shots, saying that if the court found that Oscar Pistorius' actions had bordered on gross negligence, of course that's where the culpable homicide verdict comes in. Then if the court found that there was gross negligence which bordered on dolus eventualis, which would be his intent or his intention to shoot and kill, then the court should not have found Oscar Pistorius guilty of culpable homicide. He should not have been given a sentence of 5 years, and basically asking what precedent this 5-year sentence given to Oscar Pistorius would set for other cases, much lesser cases. So certainly we saw Chriselda yesterday trying to point out to the court that it made the wrong decision and that another court, in the form of the Supreme Court of Appeals, would come to another conclusion. We saw as well the defense saying that it refuses to believe that this court did not take into account all the aspects, and that what the state had basically done yesterday was to try and persuade the court on a question of fact and not of the law, of which the defense advocate Barry Roux said should be guarded against.
Today's proceeding, what's the general sense in the court? Do you think the state will be successful in their appeal?
Well, it's very difficult to gauge at this time, Valen, but what I can certainly say about, yesterday was quite a high day of drama in several courts around the country, if I could just highlight that. And it's certainly what we picked up yesterday and this morning. What general Pretorians are saying, we're just trying to gauge a sense from them about how they feel about, the state's application for leave to appeal. You'd remember there was also, the high-profile case of Shreen Dewani, where we saw Shreen Dewani get on a plane yesterday and go back to the United Kingdom, of course, after getting acquitted for the murder of Annie Dewani. And what generally South Africans are saying is that Judge Thokozile Masipa today needs to demonstrate that she believes she was fair in the sentence, in the verdict that she had given. And the only way that they believe she will be vindicated is she gives it to another court and basically gives the state the opportunity to appeal the conviction and the sentence. And certainly that the Supreme Court of Appeal, if it does not reach another decision, she would have been vindicated in relating to the questions of law that some of the other legal experts have also criticized her about relating to dolus eventualis.
And Chriselda, just finally, they're expecting that Judge Masipa will actually wrap it all up today. What time is it expected to wrap up, and do you think it will be wrapped up today?
Well, certainly, Valen, we're done now. What happened yesterday were, of course, those arguments between the state and the defence, and basically Judge Thokozile Masipa yesterday, before we adjourned, had indicated that she was going to make a decision on that. She will come back this morning. We're really expecting proceedings to be very, very short, but of course she will highlight or give a detailed explanation about why she would be granting the state a leave to appeal the conviction and sentence, or if she does not, she will also try to give reasons on why she will not be, or why the state, of course, would not be successful in this regard, and why she feels that another court would not come to another conclusion. So we're expecting proceedings to be very short this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Chriselda Lewis, there in Pretoria, just explaining to us what is expected from the state leave to appeal against the Oscar Pistorius sentencing and conviction. We're expecting that result a little bit later on today. You can stay tuned to SABC News. We'll be, of course, keeping you up to speed with that and all the latest from the courts around the country. Morning Live.